Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, 23rd of September, and we're still in a time of uncertainty and confusion around what's happening, and many are still experiencing, even more people are experiencing stress, anxiety, and even feeling overwhelmed. So I thought that this topic today, like let go, was appropriate. I heard for the first time, in fact, this morning, it's maybe just the first time for me, but I've not heard kind of many people talking about the deaths from other things. It's all been about the coronavirus, which is obviously terrible, but there's been an increase in suicides. We've not heard about the deaths from cancer, lots of things cancelled, domestic abuse, and so on. I mean, these seem to be kind of the forgotten or the nearly forgotten aspects of what's been happening to us. We've got the winter months coming too, and that'll be flu and sniffles, and I think children and lots of people get it, and people will be worried as to, is it the flu, is it the sniffles, maybe I've got coronavirus, and we just don't know. It's a very confusing time. But next Wednesday will be the 30th of September. In fact, I can't believe it. The year has passed in a flash, yet it feels like years. We might have been thinking if only we'd had 2020 vision, and more about the what ifs later. So I'm excited also to tell you that there's kind of going to be changes for me doing this. I've launched a Mind Circles podcast. Whee! Great stuff, because it's audio and I don't have to decide what outfit I'm going to wear, and you don't have to look at me, of course. The episodes will come to you weekly, and you can listen whenever you want. It'll be on lots of platforms, phones, iPhones, iTunes, etc. And you can listen to them whenever you want. Now, it'll be the same sort of theme. It's a Mind Circles podcast, so I'm going to keep to the same kind of tips and tools. Feedback over the years has been that if people use my tips, they say, oh, it's like having a friend on the shoulder. So I hope the podcast, the episodes will be like a friend on the shoulder. And of course, different topics. And whether I do more videos, it'll depend on what you think. If we get into further lockdown or there's further fears, then I can maybe do the live videos as well. I think we all need as much support as we can. And me doing this as well, that actually, it kind of supports me as well, because I've got to remind myself to try and stay positive while I'm thinking about what I'm going to speak about. So back to today, I want to take a moment, first of all, to think again of our frontline workers who've had traumatic, difficult times, and they will not maybe or may not know what's ahead of them either, just like us, and they've not had the time to take care of themselves in the way that we maybe can. And they have to let go of their fears. They have to let go of a lot of things and just get stuck in, do their job to keep us all well and safe. I know many of the frontline followers, I get feedback from them to say that doing these videos and giving the tips and tools have helped them, particularly see the Mind Bites meditations. And of course, I do have Mind Bites on my website, although I do a meditation at the end of each of these. So we must all try and do our bit. And let's focus on some positive things. What do you need to do to keep your energy up and achieve the things you want to do? Now, these things just now, they might feel out of reach, but you should kind of never let go of your dreams, and don't focus on the negativity. I've said it throughout this whole time. Stop listening to the negative news. I know we need to know kind of what's happening, but maybe just reduce or restrict yourself to once a day or something. So I want you to think of things like, what is your dream job? What would you allow yourself to pursue it? Now, you're thinking again, you're probably thinking, this is ridiculous. There's so much uncertainty. Why would I be thinking about anything? But in fact, it's at these times that you should take stock and sort of think, right, I'm going to hold on to my dream and my vision. And I talked before, I hope you've done it, but look at your inspiration board. Have you got that beside you? That should be at your desk or wherever. Some people, I mean, I get it. I have my board sort of so close to me, I can actually visualise it. I can see it in my head. Have you got your journal? Now, if you haven't, because writing down, remember, actualises things. So it kind of shows your intention to do things. So if you haven't got these, it's never too late to start. Just writing things down kind of actually makes them real. So I want you to write down your talents, your abilities, your everything you're good at. Focus on what you're good at. I mean, I remember over the years when I've lectured, there's so many people, particularly mature students, and that happened when I was doing the Open University tutoring. Many of these people, mature people, it was the first time they'd thought they could even go to university. Now, the sad thing is that wasn't their thoughts. It was family. It was past conditioning. Many people saying, oh, nobody in our family has ever gone to university. Why should you go? So they were held back by that. And I've noticed actually, even on posts on social media, I think it's the Open University Psychology Society, that group, that it was lovely to see so many of them getting their certificates, their awards, and saying, I never thought I could do this because my family said, you know, why bother, or why should you, or you might not even manage that. Now that's past conditioning. So you've got to let go. Forget what these people have told you in the past. And often it's actually family. It's the closest people. Now, you've got to start believing in yourself. And when the negative words come from your closest family, it really hits hard, and you probably believe it more than if a stranger said to you. I mean, if somebody you don't know says, oh, you can't do that. Well, I know for me, it's my bloody-minded gene. I go, oh, I can't, can I? Right. And I set out to prove them wrong. You need to get a bit of that bloody-minded gene. And of course, one of the reasons your closest family, perhaps your parents, your father and mother, although they want to support you, there's fear in them. They might think, well, if we haven't gone to university, when you do, you'll become a different person. You'll maybe think, oh, you're better than us, you're above us, you've got more knowledge. Well, I'm sure that won't happen because your parents maybe have supported you and you love them. But you've got to forget about that. That's their fears, not yours. So just remember that their fears are their problem, not yours. So get hold of your goals and hold your dreams close to you. So I want you to write down again, I repeat it, your talents, your abilities, your gifts, and just imagine sharing them with the world. Look at what's been happening since the lockdown. So many talented people have come forward. It's amazing. People doing their artwork, their painting, craft work, and much, much more. These are things that they might not have felt they could do before or share before. And now when others are sharing, they feel sort of comfortable. Oh, I'll share mine as well. And fortunately, for most of them, all the comments have been constructive. So that spurs people on then to do other things. So many see some of the restrictions as opportunities to do something new. Now, we're hearing a lot, obviously, if we're again in lockdown or all these uncertain times, employment is difficult, jobs, maybe companies closing again, you know, who knows whether it's the pubs, the florists, the whatever. And there will be redundancies. We're hearing about that. Now, that's very frightening for these people. But I remember when many years ago doing, and I think I've talked about it before, sort of returners to work, and there were some people there who were returning to work having been made redundant. And what I noticed was that those with a positive attitude really looked at the redundancy as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for change. And of course, they let go of their fears and negativity. Obviously, there's shock at the beginning, but perhaps actually you've settled into a job which you didn't really like. So redundancy might be, do you know what? I can do something new now. Now, I know we all need money. We all need money to live. So it's all very well saying it's easy. It's not easy. But if you focus on the positive, Good things do happen. Take the steps that you need to make for your goals, your dreams, and make these and your vision a reality. You can actually realize and achieve everything you wish to do when you stay grounded, you have the confidence to build. My hair's annoying me today, as you can see. So much for the fringe that's gone, but the long hair's getting in the way. Anyway, you've got to have confidence to build and create the life you want. Stay focused on yourself. Stay in touch with who you are. That's at a kind of deeper level. Look within, and don't be swayed off your path just because someone else maybe says something and puts you off. Don't be put off. Don't be swayed from that path in your career and in your personal life. Now, there are also things you've got to let go of here. When you're looking inwards at yourself, you'll find scary things. Not just the hair that annoys you, but this is going to annoy me, isn't it? So I really need to sort this out. So I'm going to put it behind my ear, right, and start again, right? There will be scary things that you look at in yourself, and you think, oh, I don't want to really look at that. And you don't want to look at it, and you want to ignore that. But to grow in personal development, these are the very things you need to face. You need to face the scary aspects of yourself so that you can develop something new. Kind of let go of these scary things and find a new strategy, a positive way that can emerge. Most of these things are embedded, of course, from the past again. I mean, we're impacted by past conditioning, the past attitudes, behaviours, opinions, and this is how you've been conditioned. So I want you to let go of these things from the past. It's, it can be difficult when you've suffered emotional pain, and how do you move on? But you can do it. You can make a conscious decision and effort to let go and move forward. It doesn't mean you forget things, it's how you react to your past. And many of you know, I lost my eldest son, and that pain is it's like a weight. It's an emotional roller coaster. It can be heavy, it can be light. It hits you when you least expect it, and it can drag you down. But you need to go, right, let it maybe drag you down at that moment, and then you need to kind of cast that off and come up through the waves for air. And the pain, it will ease for that moment, and then it can surface again, and you'll have that. Now, you might have that. People say to me, when will the pain disappear? I'm not sure the pain ever disappears, but you deal with it in a different way. The techniques like my ABC, I use them sort of all the time. These help me. I mean, you don't know when you're going to be hit by that pain. It can be in the supermarket. It might be when you look at a tin of beans and it's been their favourite beans on toast, and suddenly you find yourself in bits, you find yourself in pieces. So that's okay. You don't need to not worry about it, but don't hold that back, because you can just make yourself even more ill. So you need to kind of, your way of dealing with that is to use the tips that I'm suggesting. I mean, you'll never forget the loss of a loved one, and I'm sure they wouldn't want you to live worrying about and being in pain all the time. And of course, I've talked at length about this in my videos, and of course you can look back at that on my YouTube Mind Circles channel. So some tips for letting go today. We all experience the loss of a loved one and loss throughout our lives, and we all experience hurt throughout our lives. And whether the pain is physical or emotional, those who cope better are those who learn to deal with the pain in a different way. So if you continue to feel this heavy emotional pain so that it prevents you from healing, then that's a situation that you maybe would not be able to move forward, and you should seek professional help from appropriate professional people. The most effective way I have found, and I do this, is to learn from the situation, focus on moving forward in a more positive way, and I use my ABC, my affirmations, breathing, and my creative imagination. I know because I use them daily, even more than that, sometimes every moment. If you continually think back to this, remember I talked about the what ifs if we'd had 2020 vision. If you continually think the what ifs, then you'll be paralysed in painful feelings and memories. So how do you get moving again? Well, I repeat again, do my ABC. I designed these because they're easy to use. They're not a panacea cure, but they certainly get you through. The affirmation, remembers your positive statements using your 3Ps, the positive, present and personal. So it's the I, a positive verb, and then just looking at having achieved something, like the athletes and people who are successful do. They don't go, oh, I'm going to win the Olympics, I'm going to do this next year. They actually hold that. So if you're studying just now, or you've you're going to, lots of people starting university, don't think, oh yeah, I'm hoping that I'll get this degree, I'm hoping that. Don't hope. Visualize yourself, imagine yourself holding that degree certificate, and that's what you're kind of focusing on. Also, it helps when you use the ABC, you can turn any kind of painful negative self-talk into a more positive self-talk. And that's what you want, because this little voice in your head does a lot of damage. You can talk yourself out of things, all this negative. And of course, if you're being hurt by someone, this includes physical, emotional and psychological hurt, then you should distance yourself from them. Now, this is easier said than done. Obviously, people tend to think of maybe domestic violence and domestic abuse, and the tendency is to think about physical. But actually, very, very damaging abuse is emotional and psychological. And sometimes when this is happening to people, the victim will often say, no, everything's fine. It's like as if that type of abuse. Now, if they'd been punched in the nose or had their arm broken, they would certainly know it as abuse. So it can be very, very difficult, and it's been extreme in the lockdown, and people more difficult to get support. It is around. But if it isn't, if you're living with someone and it's not seen as like domestic violence, although I think it's abuse anyway, but if you need to remove yourself from these people, remember you do have choices, but you should take yourself away from them, because it's just damaging for your health. And of course, I'll be continuing to talk about these things in my weekly podcast. Another tip is focus on yourself. That's not being selfish. I know this tends to be going back to past conditioning all the time, but I know when I was growing up it was, and many people it was, don't talk about yourself. That's boasting. Nobody wants to hear from you. That's don't you think about yourself all the time. And it kind of sticks, and you have to think, no, just a minute. Think about yourself. It's not being selfish. Being horrible about it is boasting about it and being arrogant, but just talking and saying to people, do you know, I passed that exam, or I've passed my driving test, or I've got the university degree. That's fine. And focus on yourself. Take care of yourself as well. If you don't take care of yourself first, you can't possibly look after others. So if you find yourself thinking back, or always having someone that's hurt you in your mind, or the hurtful situation, then bring yourself back into the present. And you can do this by the mindfulness meditations, my mind bites. You need to do that. Let go. Be kind to yourself. This is much like the above, but it's just going a wee bit further. When you find it difficult, letting go of a painful situation, don't beat yourself up about it. Being kind to yourself is also just showing kindness and compassion to yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. We all deal with hurt and loss in a different way. You can't avoid the pain. Life involves pain, and losing loved ones. You will at some point, but you can treat yourself with love and care, and it does help. Now, although I'm talking about letting go, remember not to let go of all the times you feel you need to have these negative emotions. Let them flow. It's, you know, the phrase like it's okay to be not okay. Well, that's true. Don't try and hold them back. Now, sometimes I think, particularly in a traumatic or a tragic event, people tend to think, if I don't think about it, it'll all go away, the pain will go away. So people shut these feelings out. They shut them out. They try to believe that this pain will go away. Wrong. When you avoid letting your emotions out, it impacts even more on your mental health, and you will only leave yourself stuck and paralysed, not knowing what to do. And of course, if it's really overwhelming, you really should seek mental health professional help. And don't be frightened of doing that. And there are support groups, of course. If you've been hurt by another person, don't wait for an apology. That was the problem that when I lost my son, before I lost him, he used to say, because we had his father really didn't treat him or me very well, to put it mildly. You can read between the lines there. But what happened was, he was hanging on to this. He used to say to me, all I want is an apology. All I want is an apology. And I said, you'll never get that. Sometimes people who treat others badly don't even know they're doing it. Worse still, they know it and they really don't care. So don't wait for that apology. Because what happens, I'm getting all worked up. What happens is you're kind of giving them that energy. I just couldn't seem to get that across to my son. I mean, he used to say to me, how can you forget? I said, well, I don't forget, but I forgive. It's like forgiving isn't forgetting, but it's forgiving, letting it go and move on. And of course, sadly, he just couldn't do that. And he tried, but it just wasn't going to be. And of course, it's difficult, but if you let go and stop giving that energy to all these bad situations, bad people, the healing process starts. And, it's a wonderful thing. In fact, when you forgive, and that's not forgetting, forgiveness is vital to the healing process because it allows you to let go of anger, guilt, shame, sadness, and any other of these kinds of feelings. So you can move on. You don't get stuck and you don't get paralysed. So try and remember that. And I repeat again, care for yourself, be kind. More than self-care means, when I say being kind, and more than that, self-care is important, and that means letting go. I've talked about that as well in previous videos. I had the mug written across my forehead. Can you do this? Yes. Can you go here? Yes. I was constantly running about saying yes. A kind of a crowd pleaser. I wanted to please everybody, and I had to take a step back and say no. Now, the other thing about saying no is often we go, no, because. Now, you really shouldn't need to say the because. Don't need to give a reason. You should say no. And, just be nice about it. If you desperately want to help, you can say no. Perhaps I could help you with and make another time, but you shouldn't really need an excuse. Set boundaries for yourself. Do things for you that bring comfort to you. So listen to your own needs first. Very, very difficult for lovely, kind, positive people. And I know that. And I know many of my friends and people I know over the years are like that. It's the ones who are kind and just wonderful, positive people are the ones that find it difficult to do this. Surround yourself with positive people. Get rid of these negative people. And that can be difficult to do if you're living with one. And you've probably remembered what I've said in previous videos. Take yourself off to the bathroom. In fact, I think in one I said, if you go outside, find somewhere quiet and punch a pillow, scream or whatever. Just let it all out. Because, it's difficult. You can't change the negative person with you. Only you can change you. So you do my ABC. Get to the bathroom. Just a couple of minutes just to go, breathe, and then I feel good. Let go. I let go. Remember, again, it's okay to give yourself permission to talk about your painful feelings or the painful situation or the person that hurt you. Now, people around you might not want to hear about your pain, or they don't know what to say. This is it's finding a balance, because it can be very difficult. And I know this from years ago, when I used to deal with like divorce clients. Sometimes they say to me, none of my friends want to meet with me. And I said, yes, that's because you're constantly talking about the past, constantly talking about the divorce. So try and find a balance. But if you've got supportive people around you, then what I do, I know people find it difficult to maybe mention Bruce or my son, and I'll say to them, look, it's okay to talk about it. I talk to him every day. I talk about him. So I make a point of openly talking to a good friend particularly. I wouldn't just jump up into strangers, although I did that at the beginning. It was as if I wanted to make the thing real, as if I didn't believe what had happened. But you could also just asking them, talking naturally, using the name of their loved one, and suddenly you'll find yourself sharing good memories. And of course, if you're struggling, I repeat again, please seek appropriate professional help. Now, letting go of negativity, stop constantly watching the news. Try, and if you need to, catch up only once. It's there every time you turn the radio on, turn the TV on. It's in our faces, even social media. So the tendency is, I think, for this to create panic in you. And of course, listen only to credible sources. I need to take a break actually from the computer, because my nose has been in it, the computer screen, trying to find out ways of doing this podcast, and my mouth's been at the microphone. That's been fun and games. I didn't realise, it's funny, because the microphone seemed to highlight when I was talking, when I was taking a break between sentences. So it was like, I will be doing, and then so I had to kind of sort all of that out. Now I know we've got post-production equipment that can do that, but I want to remain as kind of natural as possible. So I'll be sending out a newsletter to spread the word. So if you want my newsletters, then please join Mind Circle's community. It's on my website, and it's a growing band of like-minded people. I'll be asking you to become patrons of the podcast, and I hope you will do that. I want to be able to do these regularly, and it's for as little as a cup of coffee. So, check that out. And as always, my easy to use tips for letting go. Smile, it's free. Laugh, laughter is the best medicine, and laughing is free. And of course, hugs. I think we're missing all of that, but remember, you can give yourself a hug, and of course, virtual hugs to everybody. So today's affirmation is, I let go. Take 3 deep breaths. That's what we usually do. And then today's Mind Bites meditation is letting go of emotional pain. And I think it's very appropriate, because we're just all in such a kind of negative situation just now. Uncertainty creates more problems than knowing. If you say to people, in fact, when they're interviewed, are the government getting it right? Are people getting it wrong? What's happening? I think most people just say, I wish we knew. I wish we had certainty. So we maybe can't get that, but you can let go of emotional pain. So let's all try and start again. It's the usual. It's funny that when I was doing the daily videos, these kind of getting into the way of doing the ABC was kind of natural. When it's weekly, it seems like ages ago since I did last one. Although I do them every day, I'm not kind of publicly doing them. So I want you to remember, if new people are joining, then we put our feet on the ground, back straight, because we want to feel confident. And then just ground yourself and calm yourself. Now this meditation, it's very effective when you want to let go of emotional pain. And it's something that you should do listen to the video again perhaps, and then do it in your own time. If you close your eyes, I want you to close your eyes and then just sit comfortably and take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then out through the mouth. Now I want you to listen to my voice and follow my voice. I want you to choose something or someone that's hurting you or has hurt you. It might even be you're not sure who or what hurt you. It's got to be something over which you've no control. You've no control over these people and these situations that have hurt you. The only control you have is over your own feelings and how you deal with the hurt. Now, the hurt and this pain, this emotional pain, will be felt somewhere in your body. So I want you to take a moment to think of where this pain is. Is it in your head, your face, your neck, your heart, your stomach, knees, legs, somewhere in your body? Now just take a moment to think. It might be everywhere. Now I want you to give this feeling, this hurt, a number. Now 0 is no pain, but 10 is for intense pain or hurt. Now take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and then exhale through the mouth. Take another deep breath in through the nose, hold, then exhale. Now on the 3rd breath, when you take a breath in and exhale, I want you to feel every part of your body, inside and out. Imagine you can touch every part of your body, inside and out. When you breathe in, feel your breath filling your body and your mind. Exhale slowly and feel your breath leave your body. Now, when you breathe in again, I want you to send a positive thought and feeling, like a smile, to the part of your body that hurts. And silently say to yourself, I let it go. Now breathe in again, and when you exhale, send this positive thought and feeling, like a smile, to every part of your body. Keep sending positive thoughts and feelings, like smiles and hugs, to every part of your body. Now, slowly open your eyes and silently say in your head, I let it go. I let it go. Now take a moment and ask yourself, what number would you rate the hurt now? Now when you do this meditation, the number that you choose at the start should now be lower. And you can keep doing that meditation. I've found that in extreme pain it can be 10, and when I finish doing the meditation it can be 4, sometimes even 2. Now I'm not sure that pain ever goes right down to 0, But if it's a tension that you hold, you can reach zero. Just need to get yourself in that place where you send comfort, joy, this smile and hug to every part of your body. I do this exercise every time I need to let go of something or someone. And it's very, very effective. It has helped me, and it continues to help me through the loss of my fabulous son. So I let the emotional pain go, but still remember that it's okay to have moments where you need to let these emotions flood and let go of them, or let them out. But there are times when, if it's just becoming too much, do the meditation, the letting go. So I hope that has helped. After you finish, you'll just shake your shoulders, stretch or yawn. You just bring yourself back into feeling in the moment. Now, until next Wednesday, that's the last day of September, the 30th of September. I'll have done, I think, about 90 episodes, I think. But my podcast will be up and running, and it will replace the videos. But everyone will be able to download the podcast. Please subscribe to it. I'm so excited. Mind Circles podcast. I'll spread the word about it, and I'm hoping that people can or will support me. I've got to do my my ABC, my affirm success. I affirm that it's successful, it's happened. So I've got to follow my own tips, and of course remember, subscribe, and I'm going to share tips on the podcast just like through the videos. And I hope to do the podcast forever. It's one podcast, but it's episodes weekly and regularly. And of course, if you've got if you've got a topic that you'd like me to discuss or talk, then please email me, pat@mindcircles.co.uk, or private message me. I'll be more than happy to give it a go. And because feedback, it's kind of, I want it to be a two-way thing, although you're listening, and I hope I become, and I'm there for you as a friend on the shoulder whenever you need or want. And virtual hugs. I was getting very emotional there. I was trying to do my red door, blue door. Do you remember? You can look back and find that, so I don't fall about crying. Virtual hugs to everybody. I think it's like namaste, but virtual hugs to everybody. And thank you very much again for listening. Until next Wednesday. But watch out for the podcast. Thank you.